Binance CEO Changpeng Zhao has capitulated and pleaded guilty for violating anti-money laundering laws, and the evasive crypto casino has been ordered to pay a whopping $4.3 billion in fines. What does this mean for Bitcoin? Is it just another tick box for the SEC on the road to an ETF approval? Or is there a more sinister cloud on the horizon as a narrative begins to fully emerge that paints Bitcoin as a tool for money laundering and terrorist financing? Are they coming for Bitcoin self-custody next? Hang on to your signing devices. This one's getting spooky. What's up, YouTube? I'm Hurley, and today we're diving into the crazy news that CZ of Binance has been ordered to step down from his position as CEO as part of a plea deal with the Department of Justice and the U.S. Treasury Department. Binance will plead guilty to operating an unlicensed money transmitting business and funding terrorist organizations through the exchange. CZ must pay a $50 million fine personally to the CFTC, and Binance will pay a whopping $4.3 billion, the largest fine ever levied by the Justice Department against any corporate entity. Now, taking a step back, this move actually makes a lot of sense for all parties involved. CZ is able to get away with what looks like a relative slap on the wrist without having to forfeit primary ownership of the company he founded, and the Justice Department looks strong and is able to LARP about keeping American consumers safe, all the while perpetuating the narrative that crypto and Bitcoin are dangerous tools being used for nefarious and illegal activity. More on that in a second. First, how many of you want to see the exponential growth of Bitcoin in your traditional investment portfolio? I, for one, can't imagine any portfolio without the massive upside of Bitcoin. That's where Swan Bitcoin IRA comes in. To benefit from Bitcoin in your IRA, all you need to do is set up an IRA with Swan, allocate real Bitcoin to it, allow it to appreciate over time with zero capital gains taxes, and enjoy your retirement. Go to swan.com/retire to learn more. Now, on top of the benefits to CZ and the Justice Department, let's not forget that the SEC's primary concern over a spot Bitcoin ETF was the ability for offshore exchanges to manipulate the price. Binance is the largest crypto exchange in the world and has largely operated outside the purview of US regulators until now. With this plea agreement, the offshore manipulation problem is solved, so this is likely another check off the list towards an ETF approval. I'm not going to go into too much detail on the plea deal itself, as you can find all that information online. I did, however, find the DOJ Press Conference quite telling. Here's a clip.
Binance facilitated billions of dollars of unregulated cryptocurrency transactions. It willfully enabled hundreds of millions of dollars in transactions between American users and users subject to U.S. sanctions. And its platform accommodated criminals across the world who use Binance to move their stolen funds and other criminal proceeds. This will advance our criminal investigations into malicious cyber activity and terrorism fundraising, including the use of cryptocurrency exchanges to support groups such as Hamas.
Protecting the U.S. financial system, and through that, the global financial system, is core to the Treasury Department's mission. And ever since Binance launched its convertible virtual currency platform, it has knowingly evaded the U.S. laws designed to protect these systems. This meant Binance was allowing illicit actors to transact freely, supporting activities from child sexual abuse to illegal narcotics to terrorism across more than 100,000 transactions. That includes transactions associated with terrorist groups like Hamas's Al-Qassam brigades, Palestinian Islamic Jihad, Al-Qaeda, and ISIS. And let me be clear, we're also sending a message to the virtual currency industry more broadly, today and for the future. If virtual currency exchanges and financial technology firms wish to realize the tremendous benefits of being part of the U.S. financial system and serving U.S. customers, they must play by the rules. And if they do not, the U.S. government will take action. Today's announcement shows the Treasury is prepared to use all of its tools to carry out its crucial mandate of combating illicit finance and protecting the U.S. financial system, and this will make all of us safer.
The laws we are enforcing today were designed to protect the security of our financial markets and to protect our financial institutions from exploitation by terrorists and money launderers. Today's actions show that those rules apply equally to traditional financial institutions and those powered by decentralized and cutting-edge technologies.
Did you catch that? I mean, how could you miss it? They are being very explicit in framing this to be about stopping and preventing terrorist financing and other nefarious money laundering schemes. I mean, the number of times the word terrorism was used was well in the double digits. They also specifically mentioned Hamas as one of the terrorist organizations funded through Binance, which was conveniently the subject of the now debunked Wall Street Journal article from last month, which claimed Hamas primarily uses crypto funding. Now, I want to make it clear, I'm not saying Binance wasn't involved in some shady shit. They most definitely were, and records show that many from within the company were well aware of the laws being broken. I do find it interesting that in the press conference there was not a single mention of Binance leading their users to slaughter by incentivizing altcoin and unregistered security trading. If the DOJ really cared about the end consumer, wouldn't that be something they would be concerned about? Of course not, because the DOJ doesn't actually care about the safety of the end consumer. This is a narrative war, and they know the more they label Bitcoin and crypto as the currencies of choice for terrorist financing, the more they can single out and scrutinize the industry going forward. This is also another step towards their goal of setting up barriers to basic privacy tools and practices, as we saw with the recent FinCEN proposals limiting multiple address use, coin mixing, and programmable transactions. All of these practices align with the Fourth Amendment and add basic privacy to transactions on a globally open ledger. Without them, it would be like revealing your entire bank balance every time you bought groceries. It also seems to be on course for a complete demonization of holding Bitcoin in self-custody. Just have a look at this clip of Senator Elizabeth Warren, who's been on a warpath against Bitcoin for a while now.
In their attempt to avoid being traced, illegal actors have adopted ever more sophisticated cryptocurrency technologies, such as non-custodial wallets.
Okay, Lizzie, I didn't realize writing down 12 words qualifies as sophisticated evasive technology. I really feel like the writing is on the wall at this point. All of these deliberate narratives will be used to herd people towards the state-approved, safe, and legal way to buy Bitcoin. You guessed it, the incoming ETFs. You don't want to be labeled a terrorist financer or be accused of money laundering by holding your Bitcoin in self-custody, do you? BlackRock has got the product just for you. In related news, late last week it was announced that the most popular Lightning Wallet app, Wallet of Satoshi, has removed their app from the Google and Apple app stores in the US. Here's a tweet by Jameson Lopp that describes the situation. Unsurprisingly, the most popular Lightning wallet is shutting off access to US users. Why? Wallet of Satoshi is custodial and doesn't KYC its users. This makes them a target to get charged as an unlicensed money transmitter, Bank Secrecy Act violator, etc. Self-custody for the win. Co-founder and CTO of Swan, Jan Pritzker, tweeted this in reference to the Wallet of Satoshi exodus. The USA's unconstitutional surveillance regulation is driving innovation offshore. We don't have to KYC when we spend our cash dollars. Why do we have to when we send bits of information over the internet? These regs harm our economy and our citizens by creating honeypots for hackers. America has lost its way. Our founders would be ashamed. Jan also has this excellent long-form post on the threats to Bitcoin privacy and custody and the ways we can fight back, which I'll link in the description, so please check it out. So although as Bitcoiners we can celebrate the fall of another huge crypto casino in Binance, the underlying takeaway and word of caution should be that Bitcoin is about to face its toughest battle yet. Ask yourself, does Bitcoin facilitate transactions between people in unsanctioned countries? Of course it does. At its core, it's a peer-to-peer monetary network for final settlement of the hardest money known to man. Bitcoin is a hell of a useful tool, and like all useful tools, it can be used for both good and evil. KYC, anti-money laundering laws, and terrorist financing accusations will become weapons in the coming attack on self-custody, and as Bitcoiners, if we want to win the race to avoid the war, we need to be steadfast and vocal in our defense of the underlying freedoms and principles that Bitcoin represents. Self-custody is the thing. Now, it's also important to highlight that Bitcoin is, of course, anti-fragile. Whatever doesn't kill it only makes it stronger. It's a completely parallel and separate system that is capable of existing even without the on and off ramps of the traditional banking world. Governments can't ban self-custody and peer-to-peer Bitcoin transactions. They can only attempt to slow the network's growth by framing narratives around fear. So we have to fight their lies with truth, and the truth will always win in the end. One positive takeaway is that this will only speed up development of better privacy tech and more robust and simplified forms of self-custody. If there's one thing this narrative will hurt in the end, it's the US being left behind in the race to adopt this transformative technology. So what do you think? Are US regulators coming for self-custody next? Will CZ serve any time? Leave a comment with your thoughts and don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Also, check out last week's video on Javier Milei being elected the new president of Argentina and the one on the Bitcoin bull market multiplier effect. Until next time, Bitcoin is peace.